From the residence of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, in the aftermath of the June 25th protests on Wednesday that left more than 15 Kenyans dead, hundreds others injured, and millions in property damage, questions are swirling about who is truly responsible for the chaos that gripped the nation. Now, the government calls it an attempted coup. The streets call it a revolution. And somewhere in the middle is my guest tonight, the man many have accused of fueling the fire, the former Deputy President and now DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Gachagua, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the broadcast today.
Evening, Michelle. And once more, most welcome to my home. And I'm very happy that you've given me an opportunity to engage the people of Kenya so that we can have a discussion on issues affecting our country and how we proceed from here as a nation.
Right. Well, let's begin with the most pressing question, Mr. Gachagua. Over 15 Kenyans died during the protests on Wednesday. Your name, sir, has come up again and again from members of parliament, from governors, even from security sources. As someone who bankrolled the elements that turned violent during the protests, did you fund the protest, Mr. Gachagua?
First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to send my condolences to the families of the 15 young people who are shot by police. Let me also, say sorry to all those who are injured, and let me also empathize with the business people who lost billions of shillings to looting and other activities that took place. Michelle, I don't have an answer to such a question because it is totally misinformed, and government people want to run away from the truth. And this government continues to sink in more trouble because of burying their head in the sand. Anytime Kenyans have expressed themselves about their dissatisfaction with the way the country is being run, the way the country is being governed, it is said that those people have been financed. They have been mobilized, they have been incited, and therefore they will never address the real problem. What happened on Wednesday, Michelle, was the first anniversary of the Gen Z massacre of 2024 that was presided over by William Ruto and executed by Kithure Kindiki. And you know for sure how many people died. After very serious abductions and extrajudicial killings. The Gen Z protests of 2024 was a spontaneous reaction by young people protesting, the issues of the Finance Bill 2024, mismanagement of the country, corruption, and general impunity that has been exhibited by this administration. The president then, under the pressure of the Gen Z, undertook to address all the issues that the Gen Zs had raised. But once he was able to bring Raila on his side, and he got the political comfort that with Raila Odinga he doesn't need anybody else and nobody else can threaten his rule, he backtracked on all the issues that had been raised. And a lot of impunity has been exhibited in this country. And when it came to the first year anniversary, the young people once more came out. Michelle, the Gen Z protests do not need anybody to finance them. The Gen Zs are leaderless, they are tribeless, they have no structure, they have no organization. And again, Michelle, I think it is really playing around with the people of Kenya to imagine that Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else can coordinate activities in 26 counties at the same time. And the issue is this, the question one must ask yourself, and that is why the government must stop taking people for granted. If these activities were planned, we have the National Intelligence Service. Where were they? If they did not know, then they slept on the job. They are not supposed to be in office. If they knew and did nothing about it, again, they are guilty of failing to stop anarchy and violence. But from where I sit, Michelle, the protests were very peaceful. The Gen Zs were not violent. They had water, they had smartphones. The violence was brought about by infiltration by goons who looted shops, escorted by police. You have seen videos all over, thugs creating mayhem as police watch. You have seen videos, some thugs arriving in police vehicles, So, and as we speak today, many protesters were arrested, others were killed. Not a single goon was shot or arrested. As we speak, this happened on Wednesday. Today is Friday. All the people who looted shops, videos are there, the images are clear. None has been arrested.
All right, let me just go back to what you said. There are allegations that these goons that you say infiltrated these protests or goons that you paid, you and your allies, have been mentioned adversely. You've seen the Interior Cabinet Secretary mention that they do have intelligence, that this was an attempted coup. We've seen calls for your arrest following that statement, Mr.
I don't know how fragile this government is, that a CS Interior is walking in the streets of Nairobi in the morning and you are saying that was an attempted coup. If they had intelligence that goons had been paid by Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else, why didn't they arrest these goons? If these were my goons, I want to tell you, Michelle, today they would have been shot dead. They would be in custody. Why, if they had intelligence, that Rigathi Gachagua, or anybody else for that matter, had paid goons to come and cause chaos in Nairobi. Why didn't they act on that intelligence? Why did they supervise the goons wreaking havoc in the streets of Nairobi? How did they allow goons to go to a police station unarmed and take over a police station? And they had the intelligence. I think the CS Interior must respect the people of Kenya. People are not that stupid, you know? It is very evident that in Nairobi, the real goons came after 6 p.m. and downtown, River Road, Nyamakema, Taveta Road, Lithuri Avenue. The havoc, the looting was done in darkness under police supervision. Why were these guns not shot? Why were these thugs not shot? Why were they not arrested? And if anybody had funded them, the first evidence would have been to arrest those people, and then they can give information as to who had funded them. Right. Why would a government let goons create mayhem under their supervision, under their very eyes, for a whole day, for the whole night, without taking any action? Why they did not do it?
Rightfully, Mr. Gachagua, that Kenyans are not stupid people. What Kenyans want is answers, because lives were lost. But what we're seeing is a blame game. You blaming those who infiltrated the goons, who infiltrated the protests, the government blaming the opposition. Your name has come up. So if you say the protests were infiltrated by goons, who planted them? Do you have names? Do you have evidence? Have you recorded a statement?
I am not government. It's not my responsibility to stop goons from going to Nairobi. It is not my responsibility to arrest goons. That is the responsibility of government. These are people who are paid by taxpayers to make sure that they protect life and property. It is not the work of Rigathi Gachagua to go to the streets of Nairobi and protect life and property. I don't have such capacity. That is the work of the government. And they cannot shift blame and start saying, no, these goons were organized by so and so. Why did you allow them to terrorize Kenyans? Why did you allow them to loot property? What have you done since they did that? You know, even as you are looking for whoever could have sent them, why didn't you deal with them on the spot? Because you have seen videos, Michelle. Goons raiding supermarkets as police watch. You have seen videos, goons having conversation with police officers. You saw during the demonstrations against the death of Ojwang, Albert Ojwang, goons singing praises in the praise of Governor Nairobi outside City Hall. Today, it is now 2 weeks. None has been arrested. Those images are there. That is not the work of Rigathi Gachagua.
But you, Mr. Gachagua, are on record talking about state-sponsored goons. Where is the evidence?
The evidence is that if you see goons in a police vehicle, who owns that police vehicle? That is the state. If you see goons wreaking havoc and police are just watching, you don't need rocket science to know who has sponsored the goons. You know, if goons are wreaking havoc the whole day and none has been arrested, it's obvious who has brought those goons, because the government cannot arrest their own goons. If these goons were brought by the opposition, as they are alleging, Michelle, all of them would be custody, they would be in court. But these goons have not been arrested, and they cannot be arrested because they were brought by the state.
Let me ask, do you believe in justice for victims of the June 20 25th, 2024 protests first?
Do I?
Do you believe in justice for the victims?
I do.
So where were you, Mr. Gachagua, on Wednesday, the 25th of June, during this week's protests?
I was just here in the house. I was in my house here the whole day. Until I was watching on TV until they stopped the live stream.
And you showed up after, you know, bodies were on the streets.
Yes,
Kenyans
and I didn't want to join the protests. First and foremost, during the 2024 protests, the Gen Z asked us, the leaders, the elders, to keep off the protests. And that is as it should be, because they don't want to be owned by anybody, because they are not at the direction of anybody. They are not financed by anybody. These are our young people who are bright, who are intelligent, who are innovative, who are doing their own things. I think if I had turned up in the streets on Wednesday, it would have given credence to those very ridiculous accusations that I'm the one who finances Gen Zs. I deliberately kept off because the Gen Zs had asked us to keep off. Again, I have nothing to do with it. I'm not their leader. I'm not their financier. I just support them morally. You know, I am in support of their cause, that we shouldn't have abductions, we shouldn't have extrajudicial killings. But I had no business, you know, going to join them in the streets, because that is their thing. And it is leaderless, it is tribalist, it is not political. It is something by our young people as part of their patriotic duty and civic duty to have the country, you know, run in the right direction. Yes.
There have been concerns of leaders, you know, so to speak, riding on the Gen Z wave. In fact, you have accused opposition leader, you know, ODM leader Raila Odinga of riding on the Gen Z wave. But 1 year ago, Mr. Gachagua, you told Kenyans that police must act with force to protect property.
Absolutely.
Right?
Property must be protected. And if police had protected property, not kill protesters, protect property, protect life and property. Don't take away life, either of the protesters or of ordinary people, and protect their property. That was my position. I mean,
and
even when I was in government,
saying, when you see a policeman with a gun, do you expect them to kiss you?
No. What I said is that the police must use their arms to protect life and property, not to take away life. That was my position.
Right, so
and you remember, Michelle,
Mr. Gachagua, that you also said that the IG did a good job during the protests last year. So the question is,
not the Gen Z
as I asked you whether you believe in justice for the victims of the protests, yes, what changed? Other than your job title, were you wrong then, or are you being opportunistic?
I didn't say the IG did a good job during the Gen Z protests. It's the 2023 protests. And he did a good job in protecting life and property, you know, to make sure that property is not looted in Nairobi. And that was a good job. And even the police in this one, had they protected property, life and property, I would still say kudos. That is my position. But you do remember, Michelle, the Gen Z protest of 2024 is what created a very serious wedge between me and President William Ruto. Right. Because I took a very firm position that these young people should be heard and what they are saying has merit. And I disagreed with the president in a discussion between me and him. And I told him that I disapprove of use of force against young people. And I did urge him to listen to them and consider doing away with the finance bill of 2024, which he refused. And when a decision was made to deal with these young people, I disagreed. And when the president insisted, and these young people were massacred on June 25, 2024, the following day on June 26, if you remember, as deputy president, I called a press conference in Mombasa and disassociated myself from the actions of the president and the government. And I was a sitting deputy president. And I said, I don't agree. The president had said these young people are criminals. I say they are not criminals. These are our children. These are my sons and daughters. They have a legitimate concern and they should not be massacred. And that created a very big problem between me and the president, and he was very offended. And he started in earnest to embark on how to get me out of office, which he successfully did on October 18th. But that was what broke the camel's back. And I told him off, and I disassociated myself from the killing of Gen Z, and I was in office. So let nobody say that Rigathi Gachagua is siding with the Gen Z or saying they should not be killed because he's out of office. I am on record, and videos are there, that I took a position in support of our young people when I was in office. I did.
In 2023, during the Azimio demos, protesters were brutalized during the demos, and you said nothing. In fact, at the time, you supported the crackdown. Why should anyone take you seriously
I did not support the use of excessive force. What I said, and I would repeat it any other day, the police have a duty to protect life and property, you know? And I asked IG, please protect property. And you remember what we saw on Wednesday did not happen in 2023. We asked the police, and I was in the forefront, that in any situation when there is unrest, when there is civil disobedience, when there is peaceful protest, in whatever circumstance, the police have a duty to protect life and property. That is my position. It is true as it was then. It is true as it is today. Had the police allowed the peaceful protest and then protect destruction of property from goons, we will not be speaking what we are speaking here today. I would still be saying the police have done a nice job had they protected property as they should.
What are your thoughts on the directive by the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to police to shoot to kill those approaching a police station in the event of protests like this? You
know, Michelle, this is a hate of impunity and arrogance by the Ruto administration and people who are close to him. Kipchumba Murkomen is a young, excited cabinet secretary, full of himself because of money and power. He cannot, against the law, give instructions to police to shoot, to kill. To start with, when he was in Senate, he said that the National Police Service is independent and he cannot give them directions on what to do. Then here again, he is asking the police to shoot, to kill anybody within the vicinity of a police station. To start with, a police station is a public institution and members of public have every right to go to a police station. Even where you are protected areas like State House and installations of the Department of Defense, if people turn up there, you don't shoot them. You find out why they are there and arrest them if they are there for interior motive and charge them. Again, let me tell police officers, I had Kipchumba Murkomen telling police officers to shoot people and he'll protect them. That is a lie, and they should not believe him. And I want to tell the police officers, they have seen what has happened. The police officers who tortured and killed Albert Ojwang today are in custody. They are before court on their own. They are facing murder charges. Yet the man who gave them instructions is at home doing his own things. Let me tell the police officers in our country, they are my brothers and sisters, they are my sons and daughters. Please follow the law. Don't take that stupid instruction from Kipchumba Murkomen seriously, because you shoot somebody, you'll be arrested and taken to court. And I have told police officers to be very careful. I worked with William Ruto and people close to him. They are users. They'll use you, and when things get out of hand, they'll sacrifice you at high noon. I want to urge all police officers across the country not to agree to obey unlawful orders, not to agree to break the law. And I want to guide them for the last time. The work of police officers, I was an officer in the security sector, is guided by 4 documents that are very, very important. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Penal Code Cap 63, the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 75, and Evidence Act Cap 80. Those 4 documents should guide any police officer in this country. And anytime they are told to do something by their superiors, they should refer to those 4 documents. And if they find that whatever they are being asked to do is contrary to what is contained in those 4 documents, they must politely tell their seniors they are not able to do it. And if their seniors insist, they should ask for something in writing. They should ignore what Kipchumba has said. Kipchumba, Murkomen is those young boys around William Ruto with a bloated ego, with a lot of arrogance, with a lot of impunity. And I had problems initially when William Ruto wanted to appoint Kipchumba Murkomen as CS Interior when we just came in. And I told him this job requires somebody a little bit mature, somebody who can be able to regulate the security sector with a bit of knowledge and understanding and calmness.
Okay. The
way he's going, we are going to have a lot of problems in the security sector.
Let's hold it there, Mr. Gachagua. As we take a short break, we're speaking live to Rigathi Gachagua, former Deputy President and now DCP party leader. As we seek accountability as to who or what went wrong during the Gen Z protests of June 25th this week. Take a short break. We'll be back with so much more.